this week, James. On that's where I guess we should begin right there. Um,
Oh man.
so James, actually, this is how it started. I saw this tweet from somebody that was very high on Dump Matsumoto. Um, included it was like a thread or whatever, and I think they were trying to talk about the Netflix show as well, and then they had all these recommended matches on there. I sent it to James early in the morning, whatever, for him to look at because I've heard how he talks about Dump Matsumoto before.
Yeah.
Um, I had never watched Dump Matsumoto until about an hour before this show, went on the air here. So James from there sends out an innocuous tweet, kind of.
I would say it's
Nah,
innocuous.
yeah. You was trying to
If
ruffle him
if
a
you
little
knew
bit.
if you
You was
knew who
trying
I
to
was
ruffle him a
talking
little
about, if
bit.
you knew who I was talking about, you knew who I was addressing. Whatever else, like the tweet was, I don't remember exactly the word. Tweet was basically like, without saying her name, I was like, just watch the Netflix show. Like, save yourself these matches that don't hold up, right? And then like I went away from my phone. And then like, I came back and I saw people were like calling me all sorts of idiots and have I ever watched AJW? Was like, no, my opinion is that Dump Matsumoto has really slow matches that don't hold up compared to like over the time of 40 years because I didn't watch her matches. Like what? I saw people saying that like assuming that like I was just shitting on just all Japan women's in general,
Yeah.
and which was like, no. You know, so like the people that were like, the people I saw one person send me a picture that said "kill myself" and I laughed at it.
I think I got more offended on your behalf
I
than
wasn't
you
offended at
did.
all because it's like, you want to tell me to kill myself because I don't like watch some match that by today's standards is crummy. Like, okay, fine. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to disappoint you. Didn't kill myself. Like
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff doesn't.
I
That kind of
wasn't
stuff doesn't
having it.
bother me. I don't know these people.
Like I wasn't having it. I was like, look, like if anybody usually is inflammatory out of this show, it's me, right?
Right.
And then
You're the one that normally gets people. They call people call you a nigga and then tell you to kill yourself.
yeah,
Like, this first time it ever happened to me. It was kind of funny.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, absolutely fuck not. Like, and I was. I then engaged with a couple of these weirdos, these weird ass niggas, like to quote our California brethren.
Wow.
But yeah, I just didn't like that shit. Like, it was just like, nah, man. Like, we don't have to go this far when when talking to and about each other. When it comes to like telling someone to kill themselves, telling someone to do a lot of these, self harm or whatever, because it's like this shit's just fucked up.
You don't know who the person you're sending that to. You don't know that that's not me that's gonna not take that seriously at all because I don't know you. You don't know if
Right.
there's somebody that's actually gonna be like, oh my god, like I've offended somebody and now I feel my day's been made worse because some jerk didn't like my opinion. Like or or somebody like took so or was so offended by my opinion they told me to do that and now I consider it. That's not me. Like my opinion is my opinion. You tell me to kill myself. I'm unmoved. I'm unchanged. We talking on this show. We about to allow us to double down in a second. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, they were talking. They want to run up on James with a hammer and all this shit. I'm like, all right, man. Like,
I didn't
because
see that part till later.
yeah,
Because I
I
didn't
was
even see
like,
that part until it was mentioned in a thread with other people that that know my opinions about Dump Matsumoto, and we're like, Rich said some shit about like, yeah, you don't want no problems with James. I was like, nah, I was unaware of that. And I saw it, I laughed. I was like, oh god.
I was like, yo, man, like we are real, actual people that show up places. Like, not show up looking for problems or anything. We actually we participate in the real world. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like a lot of people, like you, for example, you always have like your Avi on Twitter is you.
yeah,
My Avi is like not me because like it's a joke because like my thing is Michael Jordan crying face on the Florida State Chief Osceola symbol until Florida State like makes a college football playoff thing. That's kind of the running gag. Is like it was so bad for so long. I was like, we just gonna we suck until further notice. So we officially back. It's gonna be that, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like all my shit links to videos of me and my face doing a weekly podcast, right? So it's like I'm not hiding behind nothing,
Right.
right? my fucking name is in my at, you know. So it's like, yeah. But anyway, it was a bunch of different people saying all sorts of crazy shit with obviously not their faces on their abbeys. No, look, that's not their inclination. I'm not getting the anonymity thing or whatever. So I don't really care. Like, but the main thing for me was like, nobody, after all that stuff I got, nobody sent me any Dump Matsumoto match to change my mind, which I found to be just kind of interesting, right? Because normally, right, you think all the times, plenty of times, right? Somebody will say, hell, Liv Morgan or somebody isn't a good wrestler online, and their stand-in will do what?
Dogpile them.
Send video clips of a match.
Yeah, like, what do you mean this very basic sequence isn't great?
Right. We've seen that, right? They'll send clips, they'll send match, they'll send Rex, they'll send someone's match guide from Cage Match, any of that. That didn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong, Dump has been in some great matches, but those matches tend to have like 8 people in them. So I don't know where you want to go from here.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly where you want to go from here because like my point still stands. Like, I didn't say anything about whether or not she was a larger than life character. She absolutely was. I didn't say anything about she wasn't a draw. She absolutely was. She's a top villain in a promotion that was on fire. You watched one of those matches. We're getting to that match in a second, but you can't deny what that crowd was doing.
Yeah.
That crowd was living and dying by that match. But nonetheless, all I said was that match don't hold up because every Dump Matsumoto match I've ever watched that didn't have like 40 people in them don't hold up. That's fine.
It like,
you know who else had match that don't hold up? Dusty fucking Rhodes. You think you know what I'm saying? Like that's not no fucking slight.
Yeah. I just think as they were called in our chat, Ko-Fi Twitter needs to calm the fuck down.
I don't even know what Ko-Fi means.
People with the Ko-Fi, like you can buy them a coffee and shit. And then they write you the reviews and shit like that. Sons of Monticello, the rest of the the Joshi freaks, the Puro dorks, all y'all that hide behind anime characters and all that other shit, right?
The part that's funny is like
I don't respect none of y'all. Like just me.
The crazy part is most the Largo Loop. Most of y'all do what? Call me Dr. Joshi and make all these jokes and want to put like Starlight Kids fucking Eddie Guerrero 97 WCW colorway mask on me and shit with a doctor's robe around my but yes. then I say my actual opinion on like if I am going to really review all that old stuff and be like this stuff's raw, this stuff is still good, this stuff don't hold up. They was mad about that. How come they didn't want to yell at me when I said, oh yeah, like the Hokuto and Manami Toyota match? It's good. It's not great. It ain't neither one of their best stuff versus each other.
I don't know, man. I think people are real sensitive. It seems about Dump Matsumoto, and they're really looking forward to this Netflix show and all that. And I hope they enjoy it. Right?
I was helping promote the thing. I was saying, watch just the show. Because if you watch the matches, you might be like, what the fuck why do I care?
Yeah, it was just a whole lot of you don't understand wrestling and all that. I'm like, look, man, James don't have to love y'all 80s Joshi. Like we don't have to like anything. Really?
That's the thing that's crazy about it. I do like most of the 80s Joshi I've watched. Like them Devil Masami versus Yagusa Nagata matches, those go. Like in the 80s and in the 90s they went. Right? Like the for example, like the late 90s, like the 89 Bull Nakano stuff, I like that. The like rookie year, Manami Toyota, Toshi Yamada stuff is like coming up together. I like some of that stuff I've seen. Right? Like, so it ain't just all Japan Women's, it ain't just the 80s. Nah, man, like look, Flair Steamboat holds up. Right? Like the Tiger Mask stuff still holds up. The Linus Asuka versus Jaguar Yokota stuff still holds up. This don't. So I am a person to be like, we're done with the 80s. The best stuff in the 80s still goes. This ain't the best stuff in the 80s. I'm sorry.
Y'all just got to live with that. Like that's just what he thinks. Like it's
Brewhaven is
yeah, wildin'.
yeah. Anyway, so so because we were talking about this and you had never seen the Dump
Yeah, I
Matsumoto
was
match,
like,
I was like, hey,
y'all
man,
yelling at the wrong one. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you what got me into watching the Dump Matsumoto stuff and going to deep dive to be like, hey, man, all these other people from the 80s and 90s from All Japan Women that I think are great or like were ahead of their time or innovative. There's a whole group of those. This one don't quite fit the bill, and it's crazy because she was she was leader of the faction that had Bull Nakano and Raj Kong, and I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so a lot of hate parallels, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the first match I ever saw, I was directed to was because of Meltzer. Meltzer talked about this match, talking about like the crowd heat in comparison to the Tam Julia hair match. So I was like, oh, well, that match is good. That match is really good or whatever else. And he was like, this match doesn't compare to that. So I pulled it up and I watched it. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So like the crowd reaction is great, but like, I'm like, crowd reaction is unbelievable. One of the best crowds I've ever heard. But the action in the ring is like, it made me think of like Hogan, Rock. It made me think of Hogan, Andre, where it's like, these are some of the best crowds, or maybe the best crowd you've ever heard. The action in the ring, nah, man. Like, the work was done before the bell rang. It wasn't done during the bell ringing. Sorry. So, go ahead.
All right.
So, I told you to pull this up because you had never seen any of this stuff, and you were like, what's the controversy about? So, go ahead.
Yeah, so, like, I pull up Dump Matsumoto versus Chigusa Nagayo. I don't know the date, but it's 1985.
The 85 hair match.
Hair versus hair match, right? And man, so there's a woman that comes out dressed as La Policia, 5-0, them boys, the pigs, cops, the law, an upholder of white supremacy. I already don't like this woman, whoever this is.
Dump Matsumoto. Yes.
Okay. So like from there, no, but it wasn't. Like, I'll show you. So like from there,
well, I've seen Dump come down to the one of these matches. He comes down to the ring with the cop.
That's just somebody
joint.
that's with her or whatever. Apparently,
so, and then
I
also,
didn't know which
one.
one.
Also have like the Nasco or is really her thing. Nasco copies her with the whole like samurai garb as well in '86, I think, the year later.
So Chigusa was carried out to the ring in the finest of Nihonian silks at that time, it looks like.
Yep.
Tons of streamers. I missed those.
Yep.
The goons then got in the ring, and one of the goons began disrobing, and then I was like, oh, one of the goons is Dump. So she basically does like a disguise and a sneak attack, gets the heat on her. Lots of high-pitched voices. Immediately, she began beating her with a chain.
In a regular rules match, yes.
Yeah. She chokes her, and some white woman rushes to the ring. I don't know who that was. I think that's too early for Medusa. For 85.
It's not Medusa.
Yeah.
But I mean, keep in mind, like people like Reggie Bennett was around in the 80s. Like I watched a Reggie Bennett Linus Oscar match that stunk back in like I want to say the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But like whatever, like that was some like not some big level match. That was just a match I was just watching. Be like people were talking about. I remember Rossi was talking about Reggie Bennett in comparison to Willow. So maybe pull up old matches.
So before I go any further, I would just like to take the time to acknowledge that Dump Matsumoto showed up with the police once again. Like that's from there it was a camel clutch, and I could just feel the excitement from the ring work. Crowd is in a specialized chant during all this. I can't really make it out, but they're clearly wanting Chigusa to get up.
Right.
Chigusa gets up. She responds with like 3 head kicks before the ref seemingly disciplines her. But it looks like she was
after getting her ass with a chain.
Correct. It looks like but literally that's the next I have written. She was just getting choked with a chain. Dump then kind of like rides her upper body and has her hands kind of like tied up in a test of strength position.
Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Yeah.
Yeah. She kicks her. And Chigusa ends up breaking free for a failed roll-up attempt. Dump then responded by wrapping her body in a body hug for, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds or so, and then she stabbed her with what looked like to be a fork.
It was a fork. Yes,
Yeah,
that was one of the that was like the chain, a kendo stick, the Aja Kong trash can deal. That's
we gonna
hers
get there.
originally. Yep. And then also the chain and the fork and the kendo stick. That was all the weapons she would use through all her matches, or not through the matches I've ever seen.
Yeah. So Chigusa then like kind of turned it around and got an abdominal stretch on there. Crowd goes insane for her
Yep.
showing any sign of life.
Yep.
From there, there was a Scorpion Deathlock attempt from Chigusa, but it got reversed into what looks like an STF, kind of like a sloppily put on one because she was just trying to squish her essentially. Dump does an actual sharpshooter after that, and then lets it go, and she just starts punching the knee with her fist. Chigusa's selling the leg big time. She's trying to show Dump she still wants to fight still and tell the crowd like, hey, I'm still in it. Then from there we got a drop toe hold into a half crab by Chigusa. More smooth work there. From there, they then brawled outside where it looks like a mini riot breaks out among the trainees. From there, Chigusa began boshing Dump's fuck ass with the box. I assume Aja Kong was instantly inspired. She's trying to stab Dump with what are now scissors, I believe, and the ref got in the way. Then Dump stabs the ref because fuck him, apparently. So
yep, that's a thing in some of these Dump matches. Is she just attacks the ref, no DQ, no nothing, just lets her roll.
Yep. She attempts, to actually cut her hair like it's real hair versus hair. I'm gonna do the cutting and strutting like the Brutus the Barber. And speaking of the strutting, we get to the strutting too because that's a little later on. So the ref is real lax when it comes to Dump and her stabbing.
In a regular rules match.
Yeah. Chigusa walking around like she's been concussed before she got opened up pretty good. She was completely covered.
Yep.
Then there's a sharpshooter out of nowhere for Chigusa. Dump gets a shot at her face, and that shot on her face, she's like completely no-selling that anything's happening to her. She's just kind of looking like,
talking about Dump?
Yeah, expressionless kind of.
Yeah, Dump did a lot of what I consider to be like no-selling, but
yeah,
whatever. I guess people will argue, would be like, well, her take is that she's a monster, she's larger than life, so she's not selling. It was like, well, then Hulk up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if she a monster, she larger than life, then why is she in a hole getting beat the fuck up?
I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying, like, I think people's argument would be that. My argument would be like, well, then why is she like growling or whatever else? Because she's scared to shot them teenage girls. She absolutely is. She's terrifying to those girls.
I'm being informed that the cop that I was referring to is Crane U from Zach Porter. Never heard of Crane U before, but yeah. At this point, Dump grabs a microphone. She begins bashing her as the world's dumbest referee misses like 7 microphone shots before he takes it from Dump. Chigusa's face looks like it's been ran over by a car at this point. I then look up again, and Dump is carrying a table around the ring like it's WCW NWO Revenge. Then there was a chair shot that Dump somehow got a chair. She decided against the table. Then stunts for the crowd, and then all of a sudden they just count to 10, and Chigusa just doesn't get back up, and I'm like, it's over?
Yeah.
Very
crowd start throwing shit. They're upset, obviously, because Chigusa's about to get her head shaved. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't watch the post match because I had to get on air and everything, but I can see the appeal in it. And what it looked like for the time and stuff like that. And it was it was really heated, and I liked the crowd aspect. But like, if you're asking me to be impressed with Dump Matsumoto, what's the impressive part? Like, is it when she grabs the scissors and stabs the referee? Like, there were a couple holds they exchanged, like between, the sharpshooter and Scorpion Deathlock attempts and stuff like that. But that's real, like, those are just transitions, kind of.
Right.
This is just a brawl, kind of. It wasn't like terrible or anything. It was just like, oh,
you got a 2024 star rating for it, sir?
I would say maybe like 2 3/4, maybe.
You gave this 2 3/4?
I would probably go 2.5, 2 3/4.
I don't think this is a good match, so I would not go with 2 3/4. But what? Okay, yeah, man. Like I said, don't hold up. They are not working for us 40 years later.
Correct. Like I don't want
anybody 39 years later.
Look,
they're not.
Actually, bring it to me. I know I'm in 2024. Whatever.
Right. But that was my point of my tweet. The matches that she has in high profile matches I've ever seen do not hold up. Yeah. So,
but again, they're not working for us. Whatever. Right. I don't think this should be offensive based on what you said. You said
exactly.
Like, so you didn't say, "Hey, this works for 1985, 1995, 2000." You didn't say that. Like,
I said they don't hold up. So, just to give you a heads up, if you want to, you can do it too. Like, it's about the same length. The 86 hair match a year later, where Chigusa gets the win back, and when you watch how she gets the win back, you'd be like, she wasn't put over, but she won on like a suplex roll up and dump, basically kicked out at 3. And stood right the fuck up. But anyway, yeah. So it's the same match. It's basically it's a lot of the same. It's not much different for the finish. I think there might be even more interference, more people, more run-ins, like people outside from Danger Light just runs in the middle of the match, runs into the ring. Then like you look at her 80, I can't remember if it was 85 or 86 run I was watching in the Grand Prix when like she faces, I want to say it's 86, can't remember, 85 or 86. I'm just going through like the years where like it was where she got the biggest emotional reaction at top hill in the promotion. And like I watched through those things, and it's like, okay, she faces Devil in the thing, and like I think that's the best singles match I've seen her have. Right? It is not necessarily a great match either. It's just like it's the shortest match out of all of them, and like Devil May said, we're not doing all this shit. We're not doing all the run-ins, all the weapon shit. We're gonna have a semblance of a match, and it was fine. Then in the semifinal, or the second to last match of the Grand Prix, she faces Chigusa, and it's more the same, and then she wins. And then she faces Linus Asuka in the final, and it's like, even though like Linus Asuka is better working than Chigusa, and it was like, wow, even Linus Asuka get nothing out of her like that. It was like, oh,
and it's
okay.
Like I kind of was like looking for like points of innovation or anything like that. I guess you can just call
the heat.
Yeah, stabbing someone in the face is innovation, but there wasn't like it didn't seem like there was like creative thought. This was just like, oh, we're gonna get some heat on you. Like it wasn't anything where I was like, oh, tons of thought went into this. Like,
right. I mean, look, if I'm not the historian on heat spots in pro wrestling. I'm sure there are things that Dangerous Lies came up with that were innovative for their time, and
yeah,
probably
maybe I was just missing it.
And probably are staples of the game now and tropes that I fucking can't stand with House of Torture or Bullet Club or any other bunch of motherfuckers that have shitter matches like that. But
all this to make wrestling worse.
Look, I can tell you right now. Ozaki-gun and Oz Academy definitely out here taken from Dangerous Lions. Undisputably.
That shit is funny though. That Oz Academy shit, I don't know why. That shit's just funny.
I fucking hate that shit so much. But my point is like, hey, this ain't the stuff you show to people that have never watched before to want to press them about like the innovation and brilliance of the 80s and 90s All Japan women's wrestlers. It's not. Will you disagree?
Like,
will you play this? Will you play this between the Aja Khan Manami Toyota Tokyo Dome match?
Fuck no.
Okay then. Would you play this between like Hokuto and Kandori? No. Hell no. You're out your damn mind. So yeah, like that's the gist of it. This shit just ain't on the level of the best stuff from that era, from that particular promotion. She wasn't one of those level of workers. I didn't say she wasn't over. I won't say none of that. I said her matches don't hold up. People told me to go kill myself.
Amazing.
Y'all look, man. Y'all go on the reviews and watch the shit your damn self. Those that are listening think they're listening or whatever else. That this probably gets clipped or whatever else, and hit my guts listening to us going through this stuff. Go through and play this. It's on all this stuff's on YouTube.
Hey man, write 1,500 words about how much you love it and give it 3 1/4. I don't know what the fuck y'all want me to
Three and a
do
quarter.
with it. So,
3 1/4.
um,